What's up everyone, it's Aaron from AMFIT Coaching, and today we're going to be looking at two different neck stretches to help relieve some neck tightness. So I'm going to keep this video fairly basic so that way you can learn the stretches a lot easier because they are a little bit involved and it'll allow you to get to them sooner. So if you have some neck tightness, then this will be able to help you a lot faster. So let's get into it. So before I actually show you the two exercises, make sure you click that like button below, help boost this video in the YouTube algorithm so that way more people can see it. So when you have some neck tightness, there's typically two muscles that are commonly very tight. And those are your traps and your levator scaps. Your traps up here, levator scap, top of your scapula, a little lower down than your trap. Usually when your trap is tight, your levator scap is the culprit, so it's often very tight. So if you only stretch your traps or only release your traps, then they don't always get better if the real reason they're tight is because the levator scap is tight. So we're going to be going through a levator scap stretch first, and then the trap stretch second. So with both of these stretches, when we're doing the stretch, we want to be sitting on the hand of the side that we're stretching. So I'm going to show you what that looks like so you get a good visual of how you want to place your hand. The main reason we do this is so that as we're stretching our neck, we're not actually elevating our shoulder with the movement. So this way our shoulder stays locked down and back and it won't be mobile during the stretch. So that way you can maximize it a little bit more. So we're going to go through the levator scap stretch first. I'll go through it twice just in case you miss anything the first time. So that way you can get kind of double the visual and maximize your benefit from it. So first thing to do with the levator scap stretch is to sit on your hand of the side that we're stretching. So in this case, we're stretching our right side. So we're going to sit on our right hand. So first step, get that done. Next step, since we're stretching the right side, we're going to tilt our head laterally, which is just sideways, directly away from the side we're stretching. So right side, so we're going to tilt our head to the left. That's step one. Next thing we're going to do in this position is that we're going to turn our head away from where we're stretching. Notice how everything's happening away from where you're stretching. So I turn my head away from where I'm stretching. Then the next step, last and final step, is while you're in this position, look down to the floor, and then you're going to hold. So let's go through that a second time. So step number one, you're going to sit on your hand, ensure that your shoulder is positioned down and backwards, so that way it's not rising up during the movement. Step two, tilt your head laterally away from where you're stretching, so right away. Next step, number three, turn your head away from where you're stretching. Then step number four, bring your head straight down and look at the floor. So if you do this stretch, you're primarily going to feel it down in the back here, maybe a little bit up here. You're probably going to feel it everywhere. I'd say most people get the most benefit from doing this stretch compared to just the trap stretch. So try this one first and see how it goes. So let's get on to the trap stretch. This one is a little bit more involved. It's a little more advanced. So really pay attention in this section so you can get everything right. So step number one of the trap stretch is the same as the levator scap stretch. We're going to sit on our hand, ensure the shoulder is positioned down and back. Now, the second step is the exact same as the levator scap stretch as well. We're tilting the head away from where we're stretching. Now, this is where it becomes a little bit tricky and a little bit harder. What we want to do for step number three is to grab the back of our head, and then we're actually going to only rotate the back of your head away from where you're stretching, and your nose is actually going to turn towards where you're stretching. So it's going to turn almost like this. So what that looks like is step number 1 here, step number 2, and then we're going to grab the back of our head. So I'm grabbing the back of my head on the side here that I'm stretching. So on this side, I reach around here. If it was the other side, then I would reach around this way. So after I've tilted my head to the side, I'm going to reach onto the back of my head on the side that I'm stretching. I'm going to pull this side away from where I'm stretching so that the back of my head goes away and my nose is going to go towards where I'm stretching. So I'm to the side and here. So doing this, you're primarily going to feel it more along the top here. If you're tight, it might be a little bit intense. So if you're doing that correctly, it should almost rotate this way. The back of your head is moving away from where you're stretching. So let's go through that a second time so that we can see it one more time. So step 1, sit on the hand, ensure the shoulder is positioned back and down. Step number 2, tilt the head away from where you're stretching. And then step number 3, this is the hardest part, grab the back of your head and pull the back of your head away from where you're stretching. And then just hold. You're primarily going to feel it back in here. So it's going to be a little bit of a different sensation than the Levator Scap stretch. So those are the 2 different neck stretches. Doing both of them should help. Make sure you hold them each for about 30 seconds. If you're a little on the tighter side, I would recommend 1 minute or maybe even possibly 2 minutes. The longer you hold, ultimately the more relief you're going to get. So if you found this video useful, make sure you give it a thumbs up, click the like button below. If it's something that you found was useful for you or you've done before, it was completely new, leave a comment below and share your experience. And as always, make sure you click the subscribe button below to continue to see new videos. See you next time.